In my 23rd and a half season with Utah Opera. 23 and a half seasons with Utah Opera. How I got started was actually by way of a dare. An engineer friend of mine, I was doing some moonlight engineering while I was teaching many years ago in Weaver School District, and he would come to the office, we'd talk music and other stuff, and then he just dared me to go audition. So I said, okay, I'll take your dare. So I started studying up real quick, came up with 3 quick pieces of music. I have no experience other than my mother being a choir director at my church and my dad being a 6'3" ham, larger than life fella. I took the dare. Why not? Let's see what happens. And I made it. They apparently listened to quite a few people that year, and they needed 2, and I got to be one of those 2. So I was very fortunate. You don't know what it's like to be shot at. They don't know what it's like to have bombs come in where you're at. Well, it just so happens that I do. I had a couple of days, I call them just moments, days, where I was in the middle of the wrong place, wrong time, and I was very fortunate. In January 9th, 2006 to be exact, in the middle of the afternoon, I happened to be walking to go with my M16 and my Kevlar head to toe to go get a shower. And as I was walking, I heard a zip go right over my head, and it was just right over my head. And maybe 20 yards away, impacting the ground, was an insurgent rocket. I dive over to the wall, and between it and this big row back about 10 feet behind me of sandbags, because I'm in Tent City. I live in a tent. And that's the only protection you have. And as I'm taking cover behind that, you start realizing this is where it gets really kind of scary, is did I pick the right side of the wall? I mean, there's a lot of guys who were with me that still have a little bit PTSD, there's just stuff. Some have closer calls, far closer, especially the Army Marine guys who leave the base and do that every day. They're exposed to that kind of incidents, things that would happen in the streets of Mosul or wherever they were, all around the area I was in. It's something that you'd never forget. I don't really bury it. And this has helped me tremendously. I used music as a therapy before I even went, because I knew it would help me. And there are certain things, certain piano concertos for Rachmaninoff, for example, that put me right back there, but puts me back there calm, if that makes any sense. Because I went into it with on a little MP3 player that I carried with me. This is 2005, and I listened to it. I only had like 40 songs, and some of it was some Chicago Christmas. Good plug for that, great album. Anyway, there's a few songs, but it was always something that's calming, not intense, radical. I have to have calm for me, because I knew what I was probably going to go through, and sure enough, I did. So whenever I hear that, I'm right back there, but in an okay way, and it helps me. What am I most passionate about? Well, I would say music, but music would be a huge part. It kind of helps define who I am, and it has for like 23 and a half seasons, and this is my last opera. This is the one I'm going out on, my swan song, as they've been calling it. But it's all well and good. I need to end on a good note, and my gosh, talk about one that fits me beautifully. This one did. So I can't find a better one. It'll always be part of who I am now. I know that, but that's okay.